Well,
Uh,
let's start with this. Where do you is there a certain time of day that you tend to do your writing?
oh gosh, yeah. And this is my funnest thing to do actually is to do the intuitive writing or and I call them these streams of divine insight, divine creativity come through. And that usually happens in the God hours, which are usually between 4 and 6 a.m. So for instance, James, Vibrant Higher Daily was written in the God hours, I call them. I didn't coin that, but that's what a lot of creatives call it because of that. The muse is so present during those hours.
Do you force yourself to get up in order to write at that early stage, or does that come naturally to you?
It's definitely natural now. Even days when I don't write, I'm still up at that hour. Now, there are many times in between, like before that time, where I'm like jolted out of my sleep with a creative idea. And
Mm.
I write it down, I get it down some type of way. That happens quite often. Like if I'm working on a big project, and this year, I would say 2023, and then this year so far, I have been getting huge visitations from the Muse, and I'm just so excited. And I see myself really being put on a path of expansion in my own creativity, which requires a lot more courage, a lot more visibility. And the Muse is here, and I'm just listening to the directions. And yeah, it's definitely during those hours mostly. And then I know on your podcast, I talked about how all throughout the day, I am listening to the muse, which will speak through television, radio, songs, labels, ingredient packages, y'all. Like whatever, just marketing, like anything. So even if it's just like one word that sparks like a whole writing, me writing for a whole week off of one word, a theme. Yeah.
Mm. So, is there anything else you do other than, sit down to write? Is there anything else you do just to kind of prepare yourself to receive inspiration from the muse? Like whether that's music you're playing or something you're drinking or any type of prayers you're offering, or how does that, like, how do you get yourself in that space to prepare your own consciousness for the muse?
Yeah. There's two parts that I definitely am excited to share here. Is that when I have writing blocks, I listen to the sound of water. The sound of flowing water has been the greatest gift. It's just that energy of flow is so good for like bringing things, making you fluid, your thoughts fluid. And same way we would sit in stillness when we want to be still, the sound of flow really helps us flow, opens channels, the floodgate. And the other thing, and this takes time, it is something I've cultivated over time. But again, and this is something where Zen Buddhist master monk teacher Thich Nhat Hanh had shared years ago, and I never forgot it, that the whole day is meditation. Like, when you know how to meditate, like the whole day is meditation. And I took that on as a path for me. So I started making cooking a meditation, how I speak to people a meditation. And second part to that is that growing up in my cultural spiritual background, I saw my grandmothers and my father and my mother, like they were just always in spiritual community. Like, no, if they were at the grocery store, if they were, in a church, my father and, wherever he was with his Buddhism, my mother with her Christianity, my grandmothers with their Christianity in the neighborhood, like they just brought the church to them where they are. It wasn't just a Sunday thing. Or my father, it wasn't just when he was in the Sangha or a temple. And I remember for me, like that made such an impression. And so the way that reflects in my life, those seeds that were planted in me, plus what Thich Nhat Hanh shared, is that the whole day for me, I'm just open. Like I just stay open. So I do things as far as like the rituals that you asked about, like drinking cacao, making sure I take certain tinctures every day, like adaptogens, ashwagandha, because you never know when the muse is going to show up. So I'm like, if you get ready, you don't have to stay. Wait, no, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I just make sure throughout the day, like my life is literally built around being a vessel and conduit for that surge to come through whenever it wants to.
That's so beautiful. I love that. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.